Oh, hi. My name is Ram Posham. I'm an executive architect with Oracle for many years. I wanted to show you a quick demo on Oracle database sharding. I have recorded a demo for sharding, including a demo about a couple of weeks ago, but that was only for what we call the system managed sharding. Today, I'm going to be focusing on user managed sharding. Let me describe that very quickly. In fact, if you watch my previous recording, you will understand what is the need for sharding. So very quickly, if you got a database, for example, Oracle RAC running on multiple nodes, and if it is not scalable for any reason, and you want to have more databases for horizontal scalability, that is typically called sharding. So you're having multiple databases and storing the data in individual databases based on the shard key. So that is for horizontal scalability. I mean, you could use RAC for scaling, but for any reason, maybe you don't have a license or you think this horizontal sharding is better for some of your requirements, you can do this. The next one is basically for meeting the data sovereignty needs. So there is a regulatory requirement where it says you have to store the data in different geographies or different countries. So in that case, instead of storing everything in one place, you'll be storing in different geographies, right? In this case, Americas, Europe, and Asia. Now, how the sharding works, again, I described this in detail in my other demo, other presentation, so you can watch that. So in the case of sharding, you have the following components. There is something called a shard catalog. That's where you store all the metadata about how you are sharding, how you are creating the sharded database. There is something called Global Data Services, CTL. It's a command line program using which you define the sharded databases, right? So there is a shard catalog. There is something called a shard director. The shard director think of this as a global listener. So when your application wants to connect to any shard, you'll be going through the sharding, going through the shard director. There is something called GDS utility. That is this one that I was talking about. That is used for maintaining the schema from a centralized place. And then you got all these shards. They are essentially standalone databases. They are independent. They are standalone. All right. And so then you do the centralized data schema maintenance using SQL Plus. All right. So as a DBA, you would be using GDS tool, connecting to the shard catalog and defining the sharded database, the sharded tables, and so on. All right. And so your application will be actually connecting to these individual shards if it knows the sharding key. If not, you will be connecting to the shard catalog. It's also known as shard coordinator. All right, so that's what that one is. Then, so in the case of sharded databases, what you do is you create something called tablespace set. Again, this is for sharding, horizontal sharding, right? So you got multiple shards, then you create something called a tablespace set first. Then what it does is actually it creates a number of table spaces, and after that, you can actually create the tables within them. So if you got data of customers, orders, and line items like this, and you identify customer ID as the sharding key, then the data will go into those individual shards based on the sharding key value, right? There's something called consistent hash we do, and based on the consistent hash value, the data record will be all these customers, the related orders, and the line items. They will be all stored in the same shard because they all contain the sharding key, and the sharding is done. The consistent hash is created based on the sharding key. So that's an example. Now there could be tables like products table. It's not sharded, but it is used across all the shards. And because this, you may be joining with these sharded tables. In that case, what you do is you create this duplicate table in the shard catalog. And when you create a duplicate table in the shard catalog, then its copies are created in the individual shards. All right. So that's how. And whenever you update the master table, the duplicated table in the shard catalog, the changes will be pushed down to the individual shards through replication. There is a concept of chunk. So all the related data gets stored in this chunk. A chunk is maps to a particular table space. Actually, in some cases, it could be more than one table space also. So all the data that belongs to belongs to each other, right? Customers belong. These orders belong to these customers. These line items belong to orders. So you may have this data for a bunch of customers going into one or multiple table spaces. So that is called a chunk. So that whole thing gets managed independently, in the sense, if you're adding a new shard, then the shards are kind of, the chunks are balanced out across the shards. So that's what you see here. Then I mentioned in the beginning, there are three types of sharding. One is called system managed sharding, wherein you identify a column for consistent hash, and based on that, the data gets stored in the individual shards. And this is typically used for linear scalability, all right? And that meets your linear scalability requirements. Then there are a bunch of steps that you go through. Again, I explained this in detail in my previous recording. And I got a link for that recording at the end of this presentation, all right? So this is an example of a sharding. Sharded table is a create table. This create table space, first of all, right? Create table space set. Then the table space, it creates a bunch of table spaces in the individual shards or individual databases. Then after that, you create a sharded table, right? So that's what you do. Say, just qualify that by saying sharded. That is a keyword that you need to use. And then here you see partition by consistent hash, and you're identifying the column name, all right? And similarly, you got another table called orders, and is a child table. Orders is a child table for this customers table. And you see here partition by reference here. So basically what you're saying is you partition this table, orders table, exactly the way the customers table, the parent table is partitioned. That's what this one is saying. Similarly, then the next one is you got a duplicated table, right? Products table, right? Here I don't have the SQL for the order line items table, but you get the point. So here you got the duplicated table. So whenever you're creating a duplicated table, you qualify that by saying create a duplicated table. So you need to use that keyword duplicated. So the type 2 sharding is user-defined sharding, if you look at the Oracle documentation. But basically, this is for distributing the data geographically. So let's say there is a requirement where it says, India says you have to store the payments data in India. UK says, in UK, and the rest is in USA, for example. So then this becomes what's called geo-distributed database, right? And it's also known as a user-defined sharding, all right? So user-defined sharding, here is an example. You say add shard space. Previously, you remember it was saying create table space set. Here you say add shard space. So you create multiple shard spaces. And then after that, you say create table space within that shard space. Well, after you create the shard space, actually you add shards into those shard spaces. You see this one, add shard, connect to this sharded database, and then you said minus shard space, country one. Well, I could have used India here, but I'm just giving an example. So that's how you add a shard to the shard space. All right. Similarly, you add this one. So in the here it should be, actually it should be, just to correct this, right? So it should be, for example, India. This should be other countries, right? Just to be consistent. So whatever shard space you have here, you say India, you say, yeah, basically you're adding this shard to this particular shard space. You're adding this shard number 2 to the other country's shard space, all right? Then you're creating a table space within those shard spaces, right? So this is India shard space. The table space name is called TBS1, and you're saying in shard space India. That's the syntax, all right? Then after that, what you do is you create, say, create sharded table customers, and here you're specifying actually how it is sharded. You see partition, it's partition name is P India values. So if the column name for country is India, they're saying it should go into table space 1. Table space 1 goes into the shard space India, and the shard space has this shard, right? Shard 1 goes into the shard space 1. So that's what you see here, which is India, right? The shard name is SHD1, and the shard space is India. So this shard resides in this shard space, all right? Then the next partition you're saying is other countries. This is a list of countries. So if the value is any of these things, they will go into table space 2, right? And this table space, where is it residing? It is residing in this shard space other countries. So that's how a geo-distributed databases are created. And this meets the data sovereignty requirements. You can also have a composite sharding where, in addition to having the data in different geographies like Americas and Asia, within that geography, you're having multiple shards. So depending upon the shard key, the data may be located, the data can reside in one of these shard databases, right? So geography decides which set of shards the data is going to be sitting in. So that is, it's a kind of composite. So the shard key decides. It has got basically 2 keys. One is the super sharding key, that's a geography, and then the next one is shard key itself, which is the customer ID. So there are 2 keys, geography and customer ID. So that's how it becomes composite, all right? So here is an example for the composite sharding. So let me quickly jump into, so when it comes to applications, you can connect to the individual shards. Before you do anything, you need a connection to the database. So when you are asking for a connection, if you know the sharding key, you can supply that to your connect string. So your connection pool, your listener can connect you to the correct shard database, right? But if you don't know the shard key, then you'll have to connect to the shard catalog. That's what here is. Again, I'm going to explain this in the example, all right? So let me quickly move to the example. I mean, again, I explained all these things in my other recording. All right. So now let me talk about this demo. We are going to be talking about user-managed sharding. It's also known as geo-distributed databases, all right? So the demo is like this. There is a live lab demo, by the way. If you click on this, it will take you there. So when you execute this live lab script, there is a Terraform script. It creates 4 databases, catalog database. They're all 19C databases. And essentially, there are 4 VMs. VM1 has catalog database, 2 has a shard database 1, 2, and 3. Right? These are the 4 VMs, each having its own database. So these are the shard databases, and this is the catalog database. So the step 2, what we do is we run a bunch of scripts to create the shard catalog. I'm going to show you that. Then we also create global data services. Actually, we install this software called global data services. And after that, we are going to create a listener. Right? So these are the commands. Again, I'm going to share the script. There is a much more detailed script which I will be using when I'm running the actual demo. All right. Then the third step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a non-sharded schema here and load the data by running a small program. It populates that schema. And after that, what I'm going to do is actually, this is how it looks, the non-sharded schema. It's very simple. It's a customers table, orders table. It's one-to-many relationship. So one customer can have multiple orders, and an order can have multiple line items. This should be, actually, this should be line items, actually. This one, this is actually, this is not the right SQL, but actually in the demo, I'm going to show you that. So I need to fix this. I'm going to do that, okay? This is not the right SQL, okay. So then there is the, by the way, this is the duplicate table, create table products. And so here you're not, by the way, here, no, actually we're talking about non-sharded schema. So, so this is orders, this should be line items, and there's a products table, right? So this is purely non-sharded schema. Then to convert the actual the demo, that demo actually, the live lab demo is meant for user-defined sharding, but to demonstrate, I'm sorry, the live lab demo is for system managed sharding, but to demonstrate user managed sharding, what I'm doing here is actually, I'm adding this column called geo in the orders table and also the line items table. In the case of user-defined sharding, you don't have to have that in all the tables, right? Because of the reference partitioning. But in the case of system managed sharding, you can have the geo just in the parent table, and in the child table, you just specify the reference partitioning. But in the case of user-managed sharding, every table should have the sharding key. So here we are adding sharding key to the orders table. Then we are also adding geo to the line items table. Now they have to have values. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the data of geo from the orders table, from the customers table, and updating the orders table. So that's what I'm doing here. So update the orders table, update this column, and where do you get this value? Corresponding geo value, you get it from the customers table. Same thing you do for the line items table. Here, you bring the data, pull in the data from the orders table. So just say update line items, update the geo code for, and you select that from the orders table, exactly. And that's what, and you're joining, because the orders table has order ID and the customer ID. So that's what you're doing, all right? This one is actually, should be, they should be line items, it should be, this should be this should be, okay, orders table. It is, we are getting the order ID from the orders table. And yes, actually that's correct. Yeah. So what we are doing is we are pulling this data from the orders table, and we are joining the orders table with the line items table. So that should be from line items. Okay, line items is L, and we are joining because line items table has the order ID, and this should be the line items table has okay, so here what we have is line items table. We are pulling the data from orders table. So select orders geo from orders table. Actually, that's correct. And now that has to be joined with the customers table because the orders table has the customer ID. So that's why I'm joining this. So this is actually correct. Yeah, that's equal is correct. Yep. So orders table. Yeah. They should be. Oh, yep. Okay. That. And then after that, what we are doing is we are going to be creating a sharded schema, right? So first we need to create the table spaces. You remember we described this. Then after that, we are creating the sharded tables. You see, create sharded table customers, and the values are in this actual demo. There is a column called geo, and it has got 3 values: east, center, and west. All right. So that's why, and I'm using the shard 1, right? I'm creating. I'm using the shard 1 for the value for the rows that belong to east, and I'm using the second shard for the other regions like center and west. Right? That's what I'm doing here. Similarly, now here I'm creating the orders table exactly the same way. All right, because here this is a foreign key to this one. All right. And similarly, then here I'm creating the line items table, right? And they will go into the same shard database because of this relationship. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to export that data from here, and then I'm going to bring the data to these 2 shard databases, VMs, and after that, I'm going to create a sharded schema, and then I'm going to import the data, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. And then I'm going to run few demos for the user-managed sharding, all right? The previous demo that I was talking about, the system-managed demo, system-managed sharding demo, you can look at this YouTube video, and this is the live lab that I'm going to be using for most of it. Then I'm going to convert that system managed schema to user managed schema. So that's what I'm going to be doing. All right. System managed sharding to user managed sharding. So let me go here. I started when you run the live lab demo, that Terraform script, it creates 4 VMs. That's what you have here. And I have the script. So I created this script to make the demo a little faster. So what you have to do is you just need to copy these IP addresses from this demo. So for example, first one, what we need is the IP address for the catalog, right? So catalog, and this is the public IP address and this is the private IP address. So catalog is here. So what you do is just copy this and paste it here. So this is the 75 and 229, 75 and 229. Then the next one is shard one. So shard one is this one. So copy this and put it here. So that is done. Then the next one is shard two. So these are the IP addresses. And then the next one is this. Shard three. Okay, so just to be sure, the first catalog database IP address is ending with 75. That is 75. Shard one is 176, 176. 2 is 145, and 3 is 86. 145 and 86. So we are good there. Then if you look at the live lab demo, what it does is, so you need to open certain ports. So just to make the demo very simple, so what you do is just copy and paste this one. By the way, it opens a SSH schema. This is a git bash window into this IP address. See this one? This is a catalog. So this IP address is copied from here, actually. So if you see, what I'm doing is I'm essentially concatenating this. So I'm just creating these commands for you. This one. So this command is created, and I'm copying it here. So just to make the demo a little faster. So copy this, and you go to git bash, and then just paste it. So that's simple. Then what you do is, the next one is, this is for shard two. Then let's do the same thing. Where was it for shard? That was shard one. So let me do for shard two. That was for shard one. So now let's do it for shard two. Then we do for shard three. Okay. Then what we do is we are going to install the software, the shard director software. So there is a location. So let's see, it has got all the steps. So you can review this later. For now, I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. Actually, this was already demonstrated in the previous video recording. So what I would do is, actually, I'm going to pause this recording just to make it small. And I'm going to resume it in just a minute, okay? All right, so I configured all the shards. Basically, when I say configure shard, I need to set up some of the parameters, and so that's what I did. Again, they were recorded in the previous demo. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create the shard catalog. All right, so here you see this is where we are starting at line 362. So I'm going to open a git bash window. So let me clear this. So you can see I'm connected to the catalog database VM, and then we are going to check, right? We are going to check whether the GSM is up. Actually, no, we are just creating that. So here we just copy this. All right. So you can see I'm starting the global data services GDS-CTL, and then I'm connecting to my catalog, actually. catalog database. Then I'm creating a shard catalog. You see here, the catalog type is minus user. Minus username is this, but the sharding type here, the sharding type is user managed. So when you say sharding user, that means user managed sharding. The other one is system managed. So here we are going to be using user managed. Then after that, we are going to be adding, we are going to create the sharding director, which is the global listener. Then you see I'm creating the shard space 1 and shard space 2. And after that, I'm going to be adding the shard 1 to shard space 1, then shard space 2. Shard 2 is going to be added to shard space 2. All right, and so on. So, so let me do that. It's already selected, so I can just go here and paste it here. So you can see catalog is created, GSM is successfully added. Now at the end, what we are doing is we are deploying the so after that, what we did was we also created a service, basically a read-write service. So your application will be using this as a service name, OLTP underscore read-write service. So that's the way you add a service to the sharded database. All right, and then you are saying check the status of the global listener. So that's what it says. Yep, it's listening on that particular service. See this one. So that is completed. Then what we are going to do is next, we are going to create a non-sharded database. So we are going to use the VM3. So I'm going to connect to shard VM3 and create a non-sharded pluggable database. All right. So in the existing container database, I'm just going to create a pluggable database. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. All right. So there are a bunch of steps here, as you can see. I'm connecting to the container database. I'm creating a pluggable database. Then I'm going to open the pluggable database. I mean, when you create a pluggable database, actually, it does open it. Then what you do is, actually, no, it does not. It does not open it by default. So you open it, and after that, you save the state. The reason you do that is next time when you reboot the instance or the container, the pluggable database will be opened automatically, because whatever is the state as of this, before running this command, it will be all saved. And that will be used when the container is restarted. Then after that, what we will do is we are going to just create another service. All right. And we can use this to connect to this particular database. Let's say the pluggable database is created here, and now it's going to be opened. The state is going to be saved, and then it's going to exit. Actually, in addition to creating the service, what we are doing is we are creating a schema. See, this one non-sharded schema. And if you want to know what this non-sharded schema is, see this one, this location, it is downloading that script, and that script has a non-sharded schema, basically customers table, orders table, and line items table, the DDL for them. So that's what we are going to do. So, okay, this is exited. Okay, this is completed. So now let's do that. So that's the thing is created. You can see create table products, create table line items. See this one? This is not a sharded table. This is a non-sharded schema. That's why. All right. The next one is we are going to run an application to populate that schema, right? So let's do that. And we are going to run. We are going to connect to the catalog. And from catalog, we are going to be actually running that program. All right. Actually, what we are doing is we are adding some, we are updating the schema with certain other things. So one is a non-sharded schema. Other one is there's also an extension to the schema. So that's, again, you can review that. Then actually now we are going to be running the actual program that's going to be populating. So paste that. Then what we can do is we can run it for a few minutes, maybe a minute or two. So it's going to populate that schema with a bunch of data, right? So just give another few seconds and we will cancel that program, exit, and then we are going to update that schema. So it's about 15,000 read rate things, and this is the 110,000 read-only queries. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel that. That program is done. And I'm here, I got exit, right? So basically I have to exit twice so that I come to a git bash level, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be, see what I'm doing. I'm connecting to that, again, I'm going to that VM, same VM. So let's do that. And then we are connecting to that PDB, and look at this. I'm adding the geo column to the orders table and the line items table. Similarly, after that, I'm updating the orders table to populate the geo column. So I'm pulling that data from the customers table. So this is what I'm doing. Update orders, set this one, the orders geo column. You're selecting the geo from the customers table. See, select c.geo from customers alias C, and we are saying where customer ID is equal to orders.customer ID. So that's the foreign key relationship. All right. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Similar. Then after that, I'm populating the, I already added the geo column to the line items table, but now I'm actually updating the values here. So update the geo value, select from the orders table, o.geo, and what you're doing is every customer has multiple orders, and so we need to join, right? So the line items order ID is same as orders.order ID. So that's how you join. And then you go to the parent table. So o.customer ID is equal to c.customer ID. So that's what this one is. So let's do that, right? Again, the idea is to use the existing live lab demo to customize it for user-defined sharding, right? And user-defined sharding is also known as geo-distributed database, right? So this, see this one? It's the first one, it updated 14,000 rows in the orders table. Now it's updating the line items table. I think it's much more than 14,000. So it's how many rows? It is 26,000 rows. So the line items table 26,000 rows are updated, and that one is 14,000 rows. Okay. So now what we will do is we will export this. So go here. Again, we connect to the shard schema. The shard 3 actually, that's where. So I'm going to export that. Then what we will do is we will copy the export file to all the shard 1 and shard 2 as well as the catalog database. So that's what we're going to be doing. Actually, there is no need to copy the export file to the catalog database because actually we are going to be importing that into shard 1 and shard 2. No, that's not true. You have to copy to the catalog host also because the products table is a duplicated table. So it has to be copied to the catalog database. Because the catalog database is going to be the place where we are going to store the duplicated table. So yeah, so you have to copy the export dump to all the 3 VMs. So that's what we're going to be doing. So again, so here what I'm doing is actually I'm copying my private key. Then what I'm doing is I'm copying the after I copy the private key, look at this. So I'm I'm logging into shard 3. Then I'm changing the permissions of my file. All right. This is my private key. First, what I'm doing is actually I'm copying my private key to this machine. All right. Then I'm logging into that host, then changing the permissions. Then I'm copying my private key. No, not private key actually. I'm copying this dump file. See, this is an original dump from this shard 3 to catalog database, shard 1 and shard 2. So these are the 3 SCP commands. You can see this one, right? So I'm just using sudo for that. Then after that, I'm changing the file permissions. And then I will be running the import. So let's do that. So this is has the export completed. Yeah, export is completed. You see it has customers has got 10,000 rows. Orders has got 14,000 rows. And line items has got 26,000 rows. All right. And the products table has got 480 rows. So when we import this, we are going to be importing this customers table, orders table, and line items table into the shards, but the products table is going to be imported into the shard catalog database. So that's what we are going to be doing. Let's do that. So that is copied. Now we are going to be copying this, right? So let's. Okay. Okay, I'm copying. So I'm copying the export dump from SH3 to the other hosts. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Just copy that. All right, my export dump is copied. And after that, I'm immediately deleting the private key. Again, you can understand, you can review this a little more if you'd like to. Then I'm changing the file permissions on all these hosts. So first I'm doing it on the catalog database host, then I'm doing it on the shard. Basically, I'm changing the owner of that file to Oracle. I did it on shard 1. I'm going to do it on shard 2 now. Then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be logging into catalog. And here, what I'm doing is actually I'm just checking if my shard directory is up or down. So I'm just going to be pasting that. So the reason why I'm doing it is if you shut down the catalog VM, it's possible that the shard directory may be down. So I'm just making sure that that is up. So that's what I'm doing. And it's going to come back and say that it's already up. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we are going to redesign this schema, right? So we can see all the details here. Create table space, short space, table space 1, in short space 1, and so on, right? And then I am creating, okay, here I created the table spaces in those short spaces. Then I'm creating another table space for the products. And then I'm going to be, see this one, create sharded table customers. It has got geo column, you can see. And then you can see the rest of it. So here I'm saying if the geo column value is east, put it into this short space, table space, which goes into short space 1. Similarly, this one, if the values are center and west, put it into short table space 1, right, in this short space 2, all right? So that's what we'll be doing. So I'm going to be copying this from here. So you can check all the definitions, right? Create sharded table orders, create sharded table line items, right? In every of this table, you see there is a geo column, all right? And then we have the duplicated table products, and I'm using the products table space, all right? Then I'm creating these functions, and they're all part of the actual live lab demo. So I'm simply doing that here. All right, so that is done. Then what we are going to do is now we are going to import that dump file into this individual shards. So first thing is we are going to import the products table into the catalog database, or the that's where we store the duplicated tables. Copy that. So basically what we are doing is we are logging into that VM first. That's the first command. Then we are executing these commands. SQL plus, we are changing we are creating a dump directory in SQL plus, and after that we are running the actual import command, all right? Then after this, we are going to go to the shard 1, and we are going to import, we are going to just check whether that products table is actually replicated or not, right? So let's see that. So what did we do? Here the products table is imported into the catalog database. Now let's go and check. No, this is, sorry, I did not copy the right thing, so this has to be copied. Copy this. It is complaining because it's already loaded. So you can see the data is already replicated to, see what I did was I logged into shard1 database, PDB, and I'm just checking the count on the products table. I'm going to do the same thing in the shard2 PDB. So let's check that. So it also got replicated there. Then what we'll do is we are going to import the customers, orders, and line items table into this shard or database 1, shard PDB 1. So let's do that. And you will notice that it's not going to import all the data from these 3 tables. It's going to import only the data that belongs to this particular shard. What is shard 1? And the shard 1 hosts the data that belongs to east region, right? East. So you will see that so many rows are imported, not the entire all the rows. So you will just see that in a second. Now the thing to notice here is that the import utility is shard aware. So see this one. It says it imported 3,339 out of 10,000 rows, right, from the customer's table. The remaining rows will go into the other shard. Similarly, for orders, it has imported 4,940 rows out of 14,000 rows. The remaining 10 plus thousand rows will go into the other shard too, all right? And similarly, line items table. So that is done. This is a shard 1. Then let's do this one. This is shard 2. Okay, now you can see into the shard 2, right? It has imported 6,726 rows out of 10,000 rows. In the previous one, it imported 3,339. So when you add these two, you will get 10,000 rows. So that's what, similarly here, it's imported 9,975 rows out of 14,000 rows. If you add this and this one, you'll get that number, all right? So that's the thing that you should notice, that the import utility is smart enough to import the right data into the right shards. So that is completed. Now we just want to check the total count. So what I'm doing is I'm just logging into the catalog database and I'm saying, hey, give me the row count from for all these tables. So from the catalog, you can query any table, right? So the data is dispersed or geo-distributed across the shards, but the best part is when you log into the catalog database, you can go across the shards automatically. So I mean, the shard catalog database, also known as the coordinator, shard coordinator, it's going to go and query the other shards and get the results, aggregate it, and give it to you. So let's do that. This one is, where are we? We are in the catalog database. So we need to actually log in as Oracle sudo co minus Oracle. So I need to do that. Otherwise, you cannot run this. So I need to fix that code. See that one? So it's product table is this, customer table is this, orders, and so that's the, and this is exactly the same as what you had in the import file. All right. So that's, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to add that line. Okay. Then we are going to run we already as Oracle, right? We are already logged in as Oracle here. So what we'll do is here, see this one, I'm going to be going a bit slow here. To connect to the database, what you do is you provide the connect string, description, address, and all that. You can also provide the shard key. When you provide the shard key, it will connect to the corresponding shard. So let me copy this thing, right? And show you. See that one, SQL plus all this. I'm not putting end of file and all that because I just want to show it interactively. So it is connected to a particular shard database. Now, if I want to know which database it's connected to, see this, see it connected to shard 1 because shard 1 belongs to the shard space 1, right? And that is decided by, see this shard key, east. If you provide west, it will say that it's connected to the other shard. So now we can insert this data into the shard, right, and commit. So let's do that. So both the rows are inserted and commit is completed. Now I just want to query the data, right? So let's do that. See that? We just added these two customers, right? East customer 1, East customer 2. And you see, we just said, I mean, this is the first name, this is the last name. Just to make the demo simple, that's what I did. So that came from this shard database. Okay, the next one we are going to do is, now we are going to connect to the other database. So here, let's exit from here. So here I'm going to copy the same thing. Actually, so that is completed. We added 2 rows. Oh, here, yeah. So this one, I need to copy this whole thing up to here. So paste. So SQL plus, you can see all that. Here the key value, shard key is center. So when you give center as a shard key value, you know that it has to go to the second shard. So you will look at this. See that one? It went to shard 2. Now I can insert the data that belongs to that particular shard. You remember in our list values, we said that if the column value geo is west or center, it belongs to the shard 2. So that's what this one is. I can copy and paste here. All right. So all the data is inserted. Now I'm going to query the data. The database. So we are still on shard 2. Now let's see the data. See that we inserted 4 customers, right? 2 in west region and 2 in central region. And we are connected to that particular shard. So in that shard, when I run the query, I get only the rows that belong to that particular shard, right? So that's what this is. Then the next one is, let's say I connect to the same shard. So I mean, just again to show you that, right? So we connect to shard 2, and I want to show you where I'm really connected to shard 2. Now, when I'm connected to shard 2, I can insert the data that belongs to shard 2. I cannot insert any data that belongs to any other shards. So that's what Oracle does. It does check the data integrity. So you look at this, copy this, and paste it here. So here what I'm doing is I'm specifying the geo value as east. That doesn't belong to this shard. So it's going to complain. So see, paste this. Oops, sorry. So let's copy this again. Paste this. See this one? Data in read-only partition or subpartition cannot be modified. So that's the thing. So we cannot insert into a eastern region data into the other second shard. Now let's say, hey, I don't know what is the shard key. I just want to connect to the shard database and I want to insert the data. So let's see that. So here you see I'm not specifying the shard key value. there is no shard key. All right, so let's go here. Sorry, let me exit from here. So I'm still in Oracle. So let me paste here. So it's connected. Now, where is it connected to? So let's check to which database it's connected to. It's connected to shard1 because I did not specify the shard key. It should be connected to the catalog database. So that's not correct syntax. So I should connect to the catalog database. So where is that? Let me connect to the catalog database. So give me 1 second. So give me 1 second. So we completed this. We connected to shard2 and inserted these 4 rows. We completed this. We wanted to insert this east data in the center and western partition. That was not, it didn't work because of the data integrity check. Now we are here actually. So this connect string, I did not provide the actual shard key value. I was thinking that it will connect to the catalog, but actually it does not. So what we need to do is we need to connect to the catalog database. Okay, so that is this one. So let's connect to the catalog database. Actually, let me copy this line above. Yeah, so let me copy that line here. So what I'm doing is actually I'm just connecting to the catalog database. So when I don't know the shard key, what I need to do is I need to connect to the, now let's see to what database it connected to. So you see that one that is connected to this. And now there was also another way of connecting to the shard catalog database. Never mind. Okay, let me just quickly go back to that place. So I checked that it's connected to the catalog database. Now I should be able to insert to these 3 rows. One customer that belongs to Eastern region, second customer that belongs to Central region, third customer that belongs to West region. And see, I'm connected to the catalog database, but and I'm specifying to the catalog database, hey, shard coordinator, look at the shard key value, and then you do the transaction in the corresponding database. So if you look at this, let's see. So I can insert, is that. See, all the rows are inserted, but they are inserted into the corresponding shards. So now, did I commit that? Yeah, commit is complete. So let's see, I'm still connected to the, yeah, I'm still on the catalog database. Now I can do a query. So let's see, I get all the data now. See that one? So we got all the customer 1, 2, 3 in each. So there are 3 customers in this Eastern region, 3 customer center, right? So center, you got customer 1, customer 2, and customer 3. And similarly, we got Western also, right? Sorry, West 1, 2, and West. Did we insert only 1, 2 rows? Yeah. So previously, this is West 3. This is 3, west 1 and 2, right? West 1 and west 2. Okay. And east 1 and east 2. Okay. So now look at that. How many rows? Total 9 rows. Yeah, that's what you expect. 3 per shard, 3 per region, right? That's what you see. So here you got east, 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 center, west, west, and center. Yep. All right. Yeah, there are 3 west and 3 east and 3 center. Yep, that's right. Center 1, center 2, and center 3. So that's the thing. And if you want to check the data, actually, you can also do this. We can connect to a particular shard. For example, let's connect to let's connect to this one, east shard, right? So let's go exit from here. Next here. Oh, no. So that. So let's copy only the required SQL. So let's connect to the eastern region, right? And if you do a $v database query, you should see shard1. Okay. Now let's run this query and see what happens. See that one? Because we get only the data from east. Now let's log into west and or center, because they are the same actually. So it is connected to the same shard. See, that's shard 2. Now, just to show you, we can also connect and say shard key is west. We can do that. Do that, same thing. You will have, see, it is connected to the same shard. Now we can run the same query and see what happens. You should get 6 rows because that one shard contains all the center and west region customers. So paste here. See, you get 6 rows. That's what you should expect. All right. So when you connect to a specific shard, you get the data only from that particular shard. Whereas if you connect to the shard catalog or the shard coordinator, then you get all the data. I mean, it basically does a multi-shard queries. So now let's keep going. So now let's do this one, right? Now here we need to connect to the shard catalog. So this is the wrong syntax. So, okay, I think we already done this, but let's do it again. Exit from here. See, you're getting all the 9 rows. So now multi-shard queries we can run. These are all from the live lab demo. You can just copy and paste. This is again connecting to the shard catalog. So I should use this syntax. All right. So it shows you the actual explain plan for that, right? So it gives you that group by query. All right. Select name and quantity. So what is the name? The country name? No. It's not the country name. It's a product select name, some quantity from line items table. Okay. So now let's see, actually, if I don't specify the shard key, one more time, let's try this. Let's see what happens. Exit from, okay. It's that. Oops, no. Let's here, copy this. State. Okay, now let's do read our database. Oops. It is columns. Okay, so let me go back here. Let me the unique name, DB unique name. So it's connected to shard one. Now let's see whether I can run this query, the one that I just ran a second ago. Here, this one. What happens? Okay, so that works actually. So we can have, is it the same output that I'm getting? It's a lot of data. So you can see thermostat, ABS steel, and all that. And in the previous query, how much is this? 77, 63, 62. Okay. Well, okay, so this is, yeah, you need to connect to the shard catalog if you want to get the multi-shard results. Okay. So going back here, this should be, we should connect to this actually. So if you're doing multi-shard query, you need to connect to the shard catalog and run the queries. Same here, same here. It's exactly the same thing. Yep. So let's do that one more time, one last time. So if I copy this, okay, then here connect to the shard catalog or the coordinator, paste. Okay, you got that. And then can connect to the shard catalog and run another query. All right, so here order count and the customer distinct. How many customers order? So this is the number of customers that ordered just one order. This many customers ordered more than 2 orders. This many customers ordered 3 orders. So that's the query that you see here. And then what is this one? Just the row count. We added about 9 rows. So we should see those extra 9 rows here. So we added 9 customers more, I think. Yeah. Right. That's what we added. Yeah, we added customers. So that should reflect that. And then this one is the line items table. So here what we are doing is actually how many customers are there geography wise. So just a breakup. So we have so many customers in the central region, right? This many customers in central region, this many customers in eastern region, and so on. So that kind of completes my query. Again, whenever you're running, whenever you want to get the data from all the shards, you have to connect to the shard catalog because that's where the federated queries happen. The shard catalog database, the shard coordinator database, what it does is actually it runs the queries across all the shards in parallel, gets the result set, aggregates it, and outputs it. So that's what happened here. Okay. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.